This is the plaintiff, Lydia Rainbow. She says she hired the defendant's moving company to transport her belongings to her new apartment. And the guy's men damaged a lot of her things. Her dresser was cracked, her nightstands are now chipped, and she's missing some personal items. The defendant refuses to make good on his inept movers, so she's suing for the $500 she's owed. This is the defendant, Lawrence Samuels. He says the plaintiff's a kooky kind of person who showed him the inside of her kitchen cabinets, which contained food from before the Roosevelt era. Bottom line, they moved her stuff. She signed off on the move, paid them in full, and now she's suing? Good one. He's accused of not moving it along.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired a mover and says the defendant damaged a dresser and lost other stuff. But the defendant says the plaintiff's a nut who kept food in her cabinets from the FDR era. It's the case of the New Deal is now gnarly.
Thank you, Douglas. All right. Lydia Rainbow, you are suing Lawrence Samuels and his company. You've asked us not to mention the company name.
Yes,
is that correct?
Yes. Thank you.
For $500 in damages that they did during the move, according to you. Okay, tell me what happened.
Okay, when they came in, they started to pack and do whatever has to be done, but they must have called Mr. Samuels and told him that I don't have everything packed.
Well, were you supposed to have everything packed?
Yeah, I did the best I could. I was all alone in this situation.
Okay, all right, but were you supposed to have everything packed? And
yes,
you didn't? Okay.
yes.
All right.
But so Mr. Samuels called me on the phone and said that the move is off, you're not ready. And he was yelling at me, and I was getting I'm tense enough about the move. So he said, you better tip those men real good. And I said, who are you? I said, first of all, I tip what I could afford. And he argued with me that if I don't tip good, I don't know what's going to happen. But I took care of them to my affordability. But the move finally finished after 8 o'clock. I didn't notice the damage until the night. When they left already, I saw the base of my kitchen chair was gone.
May I see the pictures?
Sure. It's a wood covering that goes over that part. Now it's just a skeleton.
So it's not that the base is missing from the chair, it's that there's a little wooden strip that goes in that metal.
Didn't know
That's what you're saying, right?
You're right.
Okay, and apparently that fell out during the move, and this is the credenza, chips in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to
chip on top. Okay. Chip on bottom. Okay, bedroom dresser, crack on left corner. That's pretty big. Bedroom night table, chips inside drawer. Okay, when did you notice all of these damages?
I noticed it in the evening. Well, mostly the chair.
When did you notify them of the damage?
I notified Greg, the supervisor, because I dealt with him.
When did you notify Greg, the supervisor?
Next morning.
The next morning.
8:30.
How did you notify Greg, the supervisor? By telephone?
I called on his cell phone.
Okay. And is it accurate that you folks are notified the next morning?
No, it's totally inaccurate.
Okay. What's your version on that?
I haven't this is the first I heard of any pictures, the first notification.
Have you met her before? Or
Yes, I gave her the estimate.
Okay.
I was at her home.
Okay. Do you have a man named Greg working with you?
Yes, he does.
And has he not, before you came to the People's Court today, I assume you talked to Greg. Does Greg say that she called him the next day?
No.
So how do you protect yourself from a mover?
You have to prove that nothing's broken.
What do you do?
Take pictures.
Okay, but what if it's like a scratch here and there and they say, well, I didn't scratch it? What do you do?
I don't know. I guess you need photographic evidence.
Photographic evidence. There is one other thing. I'll explain. We'll go into the courtroom.
What does Greg say?
Greg says that he heard from her about only one item, the nick on the dresser about 2 weeks later. I have never heard from this lady to this date.
This isn't a nick on a dresser. It's like a cracked chunk of the dresser.
Okay, but
And I got the bills, what I paid for it.
Right.
The lady went to the state of New Jersey, the Attorney General of the state of New Jersey, Department of Consumer Affairs.
Meaning she filed a complaint.
She filed a complaint and a claim. That's handled. They then contact me as the owner and demand that I write an answer to her claims, which I did.
Can I see the answer you wrote?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, this is your response to the Division of Consumer Affairs?
Yes. To the
When I first visited Ms. Rainbow's residence, I spent over an hour with her discussing how much a move would cost. She was expressing distress from her financial condition. At times, she was treated with kindness and compassion to the extent where she asked me to check out her kitchen cabinets. There were piles of food that were 4 or 5 years old.
That is not true.
Why are you telling the Division of Consumer Affairs that? Let's assume it is true. Why are you telling them that? On the day of the move, they were only to find in shambles stuff all over the place. Some of the furniture actually blocked by stuff. They felt sorry for her, so they went ahead and did tasks they had never done before, like removing the bedding from her bed. You hadn't even removed the bedding from your bed?
I don't remember.
Oh, I mean, come on. You got to help yourself a little, right? You know, I mean,
could
come
have
on.
sworn I took it off.
My men deny her claims completely except for a small repair on the dresser. No good deed goes unpunished. This is extortion, according to you. All right, now let me ask you a question. Do you have any proof of the value that you are claiming?
I have only, well, I only have
Thank you.
the
How are you going to prove that you're entitled?
nightstand. I have the amount and the dresser, what that cost. And here's the credenza.
Listen to my question. Are these what you paid for new items or what you paid for these items when you bought them?
I paid for the credenza, which states the amount including tax, and the dresser, the tall dresser.
Are these these are the receipts from the dresser?
Right.
Okay, let me see.
I made photocopies of it.
Okay, your name isn't on here. This is just a fortune off bill with the name cut off. How do I know this is yours?
I should have brought the original. I wouldn't lie under oath.
Okay.
Could I just say something, Your Honor?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I had contacted the Attorney General's office. He told me that Mr. Samuels is not going to cooperate. Therefore, we should
folks,
pursue.
I don't care. I am not Dr. Phil. I am here to handle what's in front of me right now. Okay? What's in front of me right now is a complete and total lack of proof of value because what you've handed me is a fortune off bill with the date and the name cut off. Do you know what that tells me? I don't even have to have connected brain cells for that to tell me something, but it kind of tells me that you got this from someone else.
No.
Because now you've left me to my own resources to figure out what that's worth. I don't know how old it is. I don't know what its value is because you hand me something with the name and address and date deliberately photocopied off.
I should have brought the original.
No, you should have. Why would you do this other than to hide it from me? Because it's not your bill. That would be the only reason to do it to me. And I find it offensive. I do. All right? Now, I've got you guys acknowledging that during the move, there was some damage to the dresser, and I've got a complete guessing game to what it would cost to repair it, replace it, or anything, or the value of the item at the time of the loss, because I don't know how old it is. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's worth. I don't know what kind of wood it is. I don't know anything. But clean up after me. Okay, I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $150. Hopefully you can get the dresser repaired for that. As for everything else, I have no idea if they damaged it or not. By the way, in doing so, I do note that you signed something saying everything's in good working order, but since your guys are honest and have admitted to there being a problem with the dresser, that's why you're getting $150. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Both sides, hold on. Got to tell you, the best way to protect yourself is get insurance because a lot of these mover contracts have these ridiculous, like 17-cent liability limitations.